biyotcha af kidruchi, that apostle which says that we give over our neshama to Hashem as an item for safety, and we trust that Hashem will return it to us the next morning. I once saw brought down that when we say Maida Ani in the morning, it doesn't have a bracha, right? Because we can't say a bracha that. But on the other hand, it says Maida Ani is the conclusion of the bracha of Hamapil. Because we go to sleep, we say Biyotcha, we entrust our soul to Hashem, and we say a blessing. And when is it the cycle complete? When we get the neshama back. And what we're going to learn now is a medrash from Yalkut Shimoni, which talks about the trust we have in Hashem when we go to sleep, that He will return our neshama the next morning. And it's so real. And I thought here I'll just read it to you in the Lashon because it's so moving. It says, Lama korin shma baboker uba'erev. Why do we say the shma in the morning and at night? Why is it that way? So he answers, Shahan korin ba'erev, the reason we say shma in the evening, Shahan neshamos olos l'mayla, because that's when the neshama goes up l'mayla. The korin baboker, and in the morning we say shma al hachzarosam, because the neshama comes back, and that's why it says lahagid baboker chazdecha. In the morning we thank Hashem for giving back the neshama, the munascha baleilos, and at night it's really a matter of emunah and trust that we give it to Him in the first place, so to speak. Now let's continue. Lakach omer balayla emes ve'emuna. We said that in the morning we say emes v'yatzi, but at night we say emes ve'emuna. Dichsiv lahagid baboker chazdecha ve'emunascha baleilos. So what the chazdecha in the morning is, we all see. Waking up in the morning is a miracle. The daylight is a miracle. Everything is a great and incredible miracle, right? The sun rising and all this, or whether it's Ruchnius or whether it's Imos HaMashiach. But why do we say emunascha specifically baleilos? So he says like this. Now you're all no one here is going to disagree with this. Ein lecha adam she'ein nafsho ke'eva alav balayla. There isn't a person whose body, whose spirit is not hurt by the night, who's not tired at night. Meirov amal v'torach she'amal bayom. Every person has different obligations during the day, and we work, and we're busy, and we have all kinds of interactions, and we have all kinds of things to take care of, and all kinds of situations. By the time the night comes around, we are tired. This is just a fact. Ukshe'ola barakia balayla, so the neshama goes up at night. Once the neshama goes up at night, ein ha-neshama rotza lashuv b'kirbo, doesn't want to come back, because that's where it belongs, and or it thinks it belongs there. That's where it came from. It goes home, and it's very happy, and it's not necessarily ready to come back to experience all the challenges of Olam Hazeh. So how come it comes back? Acha omer la hamako. Hashem says to the neshama these words: Shuv limko meich b'socha adam. You go back to your place inside the person. Why does Hashem say this? Eini rotze levater umanusi kenegdo. I don't want to waive the trust that the person has in me, because hu min bi, a person trusts in me, vehifkidech etzli, and he gives you up that I should look after you during the night. Shenemar biyotcha af kidruchi. We say to Hashem, I am entrusting my soul to you. That means you only entrust something to someone. If you want it back, you only entrust it to someone who you know will return it. Someone you know may not return it, you won't entrust it to. Va'osa HaKadosh Baruch Hu emuna, so Hashem lives up to His trust, umachzira lo, and He returns it. Now, we said that every morning is a miracle. Look at the expression. Ubaboker oselo nes. In the morning, now the fact that He returns it is not a miracle. It's just a matter of trust. But what's the miracle? Umechadesh eskocho. We wake up. We were so tired the night before, and we wake up with new strength. Ve'eino cholosh mikol masha torach esmol, and we're not weakened from all the toils and labors of the previous day, and that's why it says, there's a pasuk, interestingly, this pasuk is in Eicha, which is full of very sad psukim. There's a pasuk there on which the Modani is based. It says, Chadoshim la bekarim, Rabba emunasecha. Hashem, every morning you renew the world. Chadoshim, the world becomes new. Karim. Karim is the plural of boker. And Rabba Munasecha, great is your trustworthiness. So that's one thing also we learn in Chassidus. Maybe it's also in Medrash. I learned this in the Sikha of the Rebbe, where the Rebbe says that the neshama goes up at night and it gets rejuvenated and refreshed. And the difficulties the neshama encounters in this world, I mean, it's expressed really in the person, that a person has problems and difficulties, and not necessarily bad things, but if, let's say, you're learning and you have many questions in the learning and things don't make sense, this refers, I suppose, to tzaddikim. That's what they're occupied with all the time. When a person has the schus, the neshama gets the answers to those questions or the solutions to those problems, and when the person wakes up in the morning, you have a clearer head. You may know something, you may understand something that you didn't understand the night before. I want to just tell you something. We don't know much about tzaddikim, but when you learn the mefarshim, I was once teaching the girls at Ar HaChaim in Chumash. She was explaining something, and at the end, he said the words, Kach Shamati, this is what I heard. And the Ar HaChaim is one of the commentaries on which many commentaries have been written. So they say, how come sometimes he says the words, Kach Shamati, this is what I heard? Mm-hmm. And they quote in the names of some of the Talmidim of the Baal Shem Tov from those people, because the Ar HaChaim is loaded with teachings of the inner secrets of Torah, that the Ar HaChaim would have Aliyas Neshama, or he would go up to Shamayim at night, and he would hear it in Shamayim from his teachers, from his mentors, and then he would teach it to the rest of us. So when we hear words of tzaddikim, or we learn words of rabbeim or of mefarshim, we say Ruach HaKodesh, but sometimes it's what they hear, whatever that means, at night, and all of us hope to wake up with a clearer head. In some way, we're all hopefully a little bit clearer, and if we're not, we probably don't really sleep a full night. Normal people would sleep a full night and work a full day, but that Seder's already been bought for a long time, and we don't know what it is. But that's the story of that. And in connection with that, it says another interesting thing. The Medrash says on this pasuk, the same pasuk, Lahagid Baboker Chazdecha, the second line, that in the morning we recount Hashem's kindness, and in the evening it's all about Emunah. So the Medrash says, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu crowns himself with Chesed, then we know it's morning. Lahagid Baboker Chazdech. When Hashem crowns himself with Emunah, then we know that it's night, and therefore we say Emes ve'Emunah at night, because the night is all about Emunah. Think about it, when little children for sure are terrified of the dark, and we say don't worry. I remember when there was a blackout some years ago in this great city of New York, and it was a cloudy night. I was terrified, but my kids were even more terrified, and we couldn't even see the stars. It wasn't the summer. I don't know how many years ago was it. Not so long ago. And all I waited was just to see. How often do I wait for the sun to rise? I'm usually sleeping, but I was so scared I couldn't even sleep. The kids were crying. And then all of a sudden you see a ray of light. So that's all about the chesed. And we have to conclude already. Another interesting thing. Lahagid baboker chazdecha. Refers to the time when it will become morning for the Yidden, to the time of the Geula, and the Emunascha, and at that time of Geula, when we say the Emunascha, we'll already have all the glories, and then we'll thank Hashem, Sheshmartanu b'dalit golios shedomos l'leila. The Emunascha b'leilos, we will thank Hashem for having schlepped us through and guided us and guarded us through all the golios which are represented by the night. And now we'll just conclude with the last thing, because we have to finish. I'll quote another medrash. V'lama HaKadosh Baruch Hu mis'ater b'chesed b'chol boker. Why does Hashem crown himself with chesed every morning? Because that's when Hashem expresses his kindness. That's when we have rejuvenation. And it says, Yomam Yitzaveh Hashem chazdo. It's another pasuk that Hashem gives us chesed by day. Umisater be'emuna balayla, and He crowns Himself at night with emuna. For the emuna that He returns our neshamas. That's what it means. Chadashim lakarim rabba emunasecha. So this is really in the same place, summarizing it. And then He says another very interesting thing, which is a lesson for us. We all have our own stories every single day. We have challenges. We try to overcome them. We start new ventures, we plan things, we do things, we hope to succeed in whatever we do. That's what human being is all about. Sometimes we succeed, and many times we don't. What is the attitude of a person? So very often it happens that when a person's efforts are crowned with success, we take credit for ourselves. And when, God forbid, we don't succeed, we say, well, Hashem didn't help me. It's all His fault. Like, doesn't He see what's going on? Because we don't really understand. So here we learn an interesting lesson that that Hashem is all about chesed, lehagid baboker chazdecha. So when we succeed, we should be humble enough to attribute our success, because really a Jew could do anything. But the fact is that we have to be humble enough to know that if we do succeed in something, Hashem gave us the ability to succeed. And if, God forbid, we don't succeed, we have to believe that emunascha baleilos. We have enough trust in Hashem. That's the only way we survive. That everything He does is for the good. And obviously we have to be taught whatever lesson. And another interesting thing, I don't even know if I wrote it down, and we'll conclude with that, because I don't like to conclude with something that's not hatzlacha. We have to Messiah the Tov. So it says, another interesting thing about emunascha baleilos, that all the chesed we have, lahagid baboker chazdacha, all the wonderful things we have in the schus of Avraham Avinu. And we know this because it says, the pasuk ends with emunascha baleilos. It says that Hashem, I forgot the exact words in the pasuk, but it says that Hashem liked Avraham and did everything for Avraham because of the emunah that Avraham had in Hashem. Whatever Avraham had was transmitted genetically, also spiritually, but even Begashmias, he's called our father of every single one of the Jewish people. Also the converts to Judaism, everyone is a ben Avraham and a ben Sarah, and therefore we have this emunah in his chus, and we learned this also by the Akedah, right? That was the greatest of all Avraham's nisyanos, but whatever he accomplished with that, he gave over to all of us, and everything else that I thought we would do, we'll do in Mitzvah Hashem next time. If you want, do we continue next time? Yes. Okay, maybe Mashiach will come after we learn this part. Maybe you're not allowed to say maybe. Certainly, not say believe. Saying doesn't mean all that much, I guess.
So emunascha goes on both us and Eibishter?
So emunascha could go our trust in Him, or His trustworthiness as it relates to us. And the next parts we'll learn about